Viewpoint of dentists. It's I have bad news to report, and that is, if you can avoid it, do not ever see a dentist. Actually, that's good news. That is good. I'm giving you helpful advice. Do not go to a dentist if you can avoid it. That is what I've learned. One second. Went to this dentist, Dr. Hammers in Smallville, which is Redwood Falls. This is when I was young, before I graduated high school. I saw him a number of times. In fact, way too many times. I estimate I had 60 cavities. It seems like I had, every time I saw him, every checkup, every 6 months, I had seven cavities. It's like, so before I knew it, my mouth is filled with silver. It's filled. And I also had it got so bad with one tooth that I had to have it root canaled. Root canaled to anyway, so I could have it capped. Not capped. Wait, one sec. It wasn't capped. It was root canal. Anyways, that root canal would turn out to be a disaster. This Hammers guy is filth. He's catastrophe written all over him. And it seems like, I'll go back to him, but it just seems like with dentistry, the general picture is that they say whatever it takes for them to earn a buck. And they will say you've got problems. And my recommendation, do not believe it. Do not believe it. It's almost like getting a second or third opinion from when you're dealing with auto repair. It's almost like that. The problem is, though, with auto repair is that they're independent. They're all independent in auto repair. With dentists, there is a consortium. It's a group effort to keep the team alive, to keep the spirit alive. That when you complain to whatever board of dentistry or whatever complaint department in dentistry, they're actually part of the same network that instills this teamwork, that says, we're all going to stick together, we're all one, we're sticking together, and we're not going to bend each other over, and any complaints that come in will be handled, and we'll brush them off. We'll figure out a way to brush them off and keep the team alive, And if there is any complaints, then we're just going to create a database, that a consortium of dentistry database throughout that we're all plugged into, that puts that complainer on some kind of high profile, some kind of hit list, so that when he comes back for another dentist visit, that everybody understands that this guy's a problem child. As of today, 19th of February 2008, I just got back from a dentist, and I didn't get anything done because I got serious gum issues on my back teeth. I guess they call it 4 and 5. It's evidently I've got severe gum disease of some sort. So I look in the mirror. I'm looking back, open eye, looking out the mirror, and it's like, damn it, they look pretty good to me. I think I got really good looking gums. So what I've realized is that you really have to take what they say with a grain of salt and just step back and say, listen, maybe I want a second or third opinion, and but the problem is, when you go to that second or third opinion, there'll be a database that says, hey, he went to this dentist, and this guy's a problem child, and I swear, when I walked in that place, they knew all about me. They know all about me. Know that I'm a problem child, and understand this guy's may cause problems. It's like I'm not. It's tough. One second. She says that I need this gum treatment, which is very expensive, I guess. So I have to step back. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you this whole story of what happened, but I'm just giving you the general picture right now. It's just, you know, it's how we got along for millions of years without dentists. You know, I assume that we were all able to eat and not die from starvation because we had teeth throughout the millenniums, throughout the, you know, the million years that we've evolved. Somehow, these dentists are here to make our lives, make our teeth, you know, make our teeth better so that we can eat, so that we can survive and, I guess, eat for the rest of our lives. And yet I know we were eating for long lives 1,000 years ago. Dentistry only came about, what, 100 years ago maybe, huh? I think maybe they were pulling teeth. Dentists maybe were out there, but there's basically pulling teeth. They didn't really have any the drills and stuff that we have today, you know. One second. So I was talking about this Dr. Hammers, that I must have had, I don't know, 60 cavities probably. And in the 25 years since then, I've had, well, it's 23, I guess, 23 years since, I think I've had 5 cavities. 5. It's around a handful. 5 cavities. And this was when I was in the Navy. I had some dentistry work done in the Navy. You know what that was? My teeth were so filified that they had to be, either had a couple caps put on or a couple root canals maybe. There wasn't any, I didn't have any new cavities. I was posing a threat that if I was out at sea, the Navy thought that if I was out at sea, I could have problems, that a filling could come out and I'd have to have, be like, I have major problems while I'm at sea. So they had to, because I was sort of a threat to my stability, my teeth stability, they had to start capping their things, root canal this and cap that. So that was my dentistry when I was in the Navy. I don't think I had any new cavities in the Navy. After the Navy, I had 2 cavities. Done, and that was it. It was, I mean, seriously, I think I've only had about 5 cavities since Dr. Hammers. And well, I tell you, man, he did a job on me. I tell you, like I say, he had me so messed up, so filified in my teeth due to his making up of cavities that I now have. I presently have, I think, let's see, probably 4 dead teeth, 5 maybe 5 dead teeth due to root canals and caps put on, a bridge put in. What I had done by Sheldon Peterson, he's in Burnsville here, and what I had done by him is, well, first of all, what introduced me to him was I had it actually happened. The scare factor of the Navy actually happened. Where filling might come apart, or tooth breaking. That's what actually happened. I had so much fillings in this one tooth that something happened and it broke. The tooth broke, and it nearly broke so bad that it couldn't be capified. But Sheldon Peterson did a good job capping that. I had a root canal, and that was capped. And there's another dentist, but Sheldon did the actual cap put on. That was a fine job. It was when a tooth that had been root canaled by Dr. Hammers, and he did a crappy job, and I've always had a problem with this tooth that was over here. It's always became the root canal he did was just so it was just basically an abotomy. It was an abortion. Always had trouble with that tooth. Even though it was dead, it would move around. It would become loose sometimes. And then if I was gentle on that side, it would heal up. And finally, well, I was eating the corn nuts, and they're hard on the teeth. So I ate them on that side, and it became loose again. And I thought I'd get it checked out by Sheldon, and I did, and he recommended that it be pulled. Well, just for information, I'll tell you another story later, but when they tell you something that's catastrophic to your mouth, like pulling a tooth, take it with a grain of salt. Kind of back up and say, it's probably not true. I'll tell you about another story here in a little bit. But anyways, so I did get it pulled. I believed him. I believed these things. So I got it pulled. And to fill the tooth, you put a bridge in. So you got 2 live teeth surrounding it. You put a bridge over it to simulate a full line of teeth. Well, that bridge by Sheldon Peterson would turn out to be a nightmare. It turned out to be what happened. He would do the whole thing, and there are live teeth surrounding the bridge, so they're live teeth. So what we do is we curve around it for the cap, for the bridge, and you basically put the bridge on top of these 2 live teeth, and then the bridge covers the tooth that he pulled out. It was interesting. This is back in '97. He did the carving. He did a molding so that he get a fit for the bridge people who actually mold the bridge. It was interesting. After I got that molding done, he calls me in 3 days later. He says, "Oh, we got to do it again. We got to do it again." With this time though, he numbs me up and he does some more carving. So he gets closer to the nerves surrounding the tooth. And I don't know if somebody paid him. This is when I was having problems with 3M. It's like, this is before I found out that I was pissing everybody off. I didn't realize I don't know what the rumors are, but evidently, I'm nasty of some sort. I'm not sure what exactly the rumors are. If I'm, I don't exactly know what it was, but I think he got a call from 3M or somebody. They said, "Hey, listen, we need you to mess him up. Screw this guy up." And so Sheldon calls me in for a follow-up, and the first carving of the tooth wasn't good enough. He had to carve it again. So he carved both teeth of the anchors, which would allow the nerve to become a little more, expose the nerve a little bit, get it close to the nerve so that maybe it would be a little more sensitive to cold or pain and such. 1 second. So I'm just believing, at this point, I'm just believing anything dentists say. I assume they know what's going on. So, what happened immediately after that, I got the bridge put on. I would be in pain. I would be in pain for literally 6 more years after that. 7 more years, till 2004. So that was 98, so it'd be 98 so 6 years, 98 to the end of, beginning of 98 to the end of 2004, almost 7 years. 1 second. So talking about this pain, evidently the bite was wrong, so he had to recarve the outside, the bridge to make the bite better, so that I became that bit less, or it was less. This is their approach. This is their approach. That, I don't know, this is what they're thinking. Anyway, I'll just give you the end result here. What turned out, what happened is that I had this bridge sparked up a little bit of an infection, which sparked up an abscess up here. Now the abscess up here was on a dead tooth. So what happens is that I don't feel the pain. So I had a dead tooth up here, and this bite, the bite, or something was igniting this tooth to become inflamed. So I had an infection in my mouth for literally 6-7 years. I had an infection in my mouth, caused me pain. Had a toothache for 7 years. I had to get my ears unplugged from wax in my right ear due to this infection. I didn't know it. So I'm experiencing problems. I'm very sensitive at this point. For these years I'm experiencing, I am sensitive to my right ear. Any loud noise, and it was just like it just hurt. That doesn't happen now. Okay. So what happened is that, I'm kind of cutting to the end here. I mean, I'm going to jump back, but what happened is that it got so bad that this tooth became loose. the infection had become so bad that it was killing the tooth. It was. So I go to the dentist, in another dentist in Smallville, and he recommends the tooth be pulled. So again, another recommendation. And folks, for you listening out there, when they make a recommendation like that, don't do it. I didn't do it. I just took some antibiotics, and Wallapalooza, I am healed. The inflammation, what would happen it would take 6 months to settle out, but my sensitivity to my right ear would go away. No more wax buildup. By the way, I had to have like a doctor take out the wax buildup with special drops or a plug full of wax coming out of my ear. And this is going on for 7 years because when I went to dentists, all they would do is grind down the tooth some more. I went to, I don't know, probably 3 dentists, 2 or 3 dentists, and they never caught it. They never knew that I had an infection. So I relied on their help for 6, 7 years, and they couldn't. I think 3 dentists. They couldn't come up with a solution. It seemed like the only solution they could come up with is the ones that would put more money into the pocketbook. And they've taken plenty of my money. I tell you, man. And they've got plenty of my teeth. I tell you, I've 1 second. Yeah, I've got teeth scars, man. I've got it's like I've been on a battlefield in my mouth, and it's all dead bodies laying around. It's pretty much what's going on. I did go back to. It was a few years back. I went. It was 2002 or 2003. Went back to Dr. Hammers, and he's doing teeth cleaning, and he inspects my mouth, and what he notices is that this bridge back here, the bridge. What happened is that it got ground down so much that it actually exposed the steel. That the bridge is a steel structure with sort of an enamel, fake enamel surrounding it, and it had ground down so much that some of the metal was showing now. And he said, that's got to be fixed. We got to take care of it. It's always a crisis. It's always we got a problem with the dentist. We got a problem. We got to do this, and it's gonna cost $2,000 or $5,000. Everything they recommend just costs a lot of money, and it just seems to be a big scheme. So I relied on them for 6, 7 years to make my pain go away, and it turns out the only person that cares what I'm going through and that cares for my body is me. Like, you hear about all these medical people who have got these mystery diagnoses, and you find out that they finally figured out what's going on via the web. They get on the web and they read the research, and they find out maybe a couple. It's not really, you go to a doctor, 2 or 3, and it doesn't really take care. You study it, you use research on the web. Next thing you know, you find out exactly what you have, and then you go, it starts to make you wonder about the medical profession, doctors in general too. That makes you wonder that it appears as we are more we're more educated about our body than these professionals who go to school for 4 or 8 years. So 1 second. So with Dr. Hammers and that bridge that was exposed now, and he's trying to say I need to get it fixed, I say, well, should that other dentist pay for it? He's the one that caused this. He told me it was going to be fine. I asked him about it. He said, the other dentist said that was going to be fine. And then Dr. Hammers says, no, it's not fine. And so I've got one dentist causing me the problem that I suspect it might be a problem. And it turns out, who knows? I got one dentist doing this job that's exposed the bridge. Another dentist says it needs to be fixed. Folks, it's just like, just don't believe them. Do not go to a dentist. Don't go to them. If you can avoid it at all possible, don't go to them. And I think the VA understands this problem, and that's why they don't even support dental work at the VA. I'm not sure why. I mean, it might be what I'm saying here. They don't believe dentists are moral. They don't believe that they're. It's like a. I don't know. It's like they're messed up, and the VA and other people realize that it's just. One second. I wonder why there's a separate dental coverage for medical. You have to have dental coverage for insurance that's separate than medical coverage. It's interesting that they're not the same. They're not part of the same plan. There's a separation of medical and dental, and it just seems like I think people know what I'm talking about out there, and that's kind of why the VA doesn't support dental coverage, and a lot of other people have trouble supporting. I think they have trouble supporting dental coverage. I think they may have experienced what I'm experiencing, and they just don't believe the things that they're saying. Today I was told that I need to use a soft toothbrush, because you don't want to be hard on the gums. And it's like, my experience is that I want a hard toothbrush so that I toughen up the tissue. I mean, that's what your skin is for. Your skin is, when you develop a callus on your skin, you have a better skin. You have a skin that's hardified, that can handle more damage. The same concept I would think would be with the gums, that you would want to toughen them up. So when I hear them say you should use a soft toothbrush, what I hear that come in, what comes out is I want the opposite. When they say something, I'm usually thinking the opposite. That when they say I have gum disease, I think I do not have gum disease. That when they say I have to floss my teeth every day, I say I don't have to floss my teeth every day. I do brush my teeth every day, but I do not floss every day. I floss about once a month. And what I realized there, what happened there is, when I was in the Navy, I wasn't flossing at all, and I believe back then I had some gum disease, but my Navy dentist never told me that, because what was happening, I was having bad breath, and it would be I had really bad breath, and I would get these like this, like when I'm talking to somebody, I was like, I was like, I get that indication, and maybe even a comment that says, you have bad breath, but nobody ever told me. I didn't know what to do. I think I tried using Listerine or something. I thought that was I didn't know what. Do you know what it takes to fix bad breath? It's really simple, folks. Here's what you do. As soon as I did this, as soon as I did the phone, I flossed my teeth and I dug deep so that I make them bleed. And once that heals, about a week, you are now going to have no bad breath. Once I started doing that, once I started flossing my teeth regularly, once a month was all that was required for me, I no longer had bad breath, and my gums looked good. My gums looked bad back then too. And that's when I don't know why. I mean, I should have been a little bit more attentive to the way my gums look. But there's this look to the gums that it looks like that. It just doesn't look good. It's non-pinkish. And if your gums are looking pink, you have good gums. That's pretty much the way it is. And if you want that to happen, what you do, floss once a week or once a month. And when you floss, dig deep to make them bleed. And if they're not bleeding when you dig deep, that means you have really good gums. Okay? And if you do that once a week, that's probably what's going to happen. You're going to have, they won't be bleeding, and you're going to have good gums. And I don't know why I find flossing to be such a chore, but that's why I only do it once a month. It's like when I get done flossing, it's like, that wasn't that bad. But for some reason, I have a calendar set up for once a month, a timer that goes off that says you need to floss, and so that's the way I do it. And again, if you have bad breath, you don't need Listerine, whatever that is, Listerment, whatever it is. Just floss once a month, once a week, and dig deep, make them bleed, get them bleeding, and once they stop bleeding, once you floss enough that they stop bleeding, you're not going to have bad breath in a week later. It is that simple. It's really amazing. When your gums are rotting, you have bad breath. That's why you have bad breath, because your mouth is rotting. And I didn't realize this in the Navy, and despite I must have had bad breath for a year before I realized this. I'm not even sure. I just see people like react. Oh God. all somebody had to say to me is, Chris, floss your teeth and make them bleed. And I would have done it. It would have been that simple. Nobody ever, I would get like this, like a bad breath, but what do I do? Somebody tell me what to do. And nobody told me. So, that's what you do for a bad breath. And floss at least once a month, but maybe once a week. And if you like it a lot, do it every day if you want. Anyway, it was, when I told you about this abscess that had been infected for literally 7 years, and no dentist caught it. I had to catch it, and he recommended that it be pulled. Well, that tooth is fine now; it's solid. I just took some antibiotics. It healed. It got rid of the infection, and it took take about 6 months for everything to settle out. The tooth became very solid, and it's solid today. The moral of that is that they recommended that it be pulled. And I didn't pull it, and it's fine now. That would have been a lot of. I would have had to have probably implant put in order. It's just that when it's, you know what I'm saying, they recommended something that was catastrophic, and I didn't do it, and I did a good job in not doing it, and my tooth is fine, and my teeth are pretty fine, and I went to. Right after that dentist had recommended that pulling, I went to Dr. Schultz Family Dentistry right here in Burnsville, and I just moved to Metropolis again, Burnsville, and I found the last straw. The guy recommended that I get a mouthpiece put in, get a mouthpiece. Those things, believe it or not, for a piece of plastic, those cost like $180. And I just believe it's like they make this. We recommend this. You need this. You need this. It's like when they do that, you need to step back and say, I need 3 days to think about this, and do that. Whenever they say something, say, I need 3 days to think about this. Just take a step back and say, I want to think. Because what I did is I did it right away, and then I realized when I took it home and I put the mouthpiece in, that the reason why the mouthpiece is that I was grinding my teeth. What happened is that I had wear and tear on my right teeth because for 7 years I had not been biting on this side. I had been so ginger on it that I always ate on my right side. Thus, I have more wear and tear on the right side than the left. And so what he thought I was doing, I tried to tell him this, but he said, no, when you're biting your teeth at night, so you need to put this mouth guard in so that you don't bite your teeth at night. You don't grind your teeth when you're sleeping. Again, when a dentist says something, think the opposite. Don't believe him. Don't believe it. Take 3 days, step back, and say, I want to think about this. I want to think about what you're doing. Because I'm not grinding my teeth at night. I'm all aware of what I'm doing. I probably had that mouthpiece. I did it 2 days maybe. And then I think I spent $180 on this crap. And that was the final straw. I am not going to believe things that dentists say. And I gave him some crap, and I gave him so much flack that he eventually sent me a letter saying, we no longer wish to do service with you, Chris Roller. And I'm like, fine, you're the jerk off who charges me. Hey, by the way, this guy wanted me to redo all my caps, or redo my bridge and my cap or something, because the super glue that was holding it on could come loose at any time. There's this fear factor involved that says that at any given moment, the super glue they put on the cap for the caps, that it's going to fall off, and because of that threat, you need to have your caps redone every 2 years or every 4. Some ludicrous year ratio that says basically we want your money and we want to take it from you, and you need to do what we're saying. People, you need to understand when they make a recommendation, take a step back for 3 days and think about it, and especially if they're going to make some money from this, think. Don't do it. It is. Like I saw this lady today, this hygienist, and she's a nice lady, and I believe her to be an honest lady. But when she says use a soft brush, she wants to give me a soft brush. I'm like, I don't want it. I got my medium brush, and I told her if I could find a hard brush in the store, I'd buy it. They're no longer stocking the stores with hard brushes anymore. But when she says use a soft brush, what I then infer is that here's a fairly honest lady that just has been trained in the schooling that you need soft brushes. What I'm wondering, I think it may be so deep embedded in the school of dentistry and hygienist, the people who clean teeth and all the hygienists, that it's like the world of dentistry says we want to figure out a way to make the most money possible and screw everybody up at the same time so that we get more business. And what they're going to do is train everybody that they should floss their teeth. And maybe that's true. You can floss your teeth, but I don't think you need to do it every day. And when they do say floss your teeth, they're not telling you to, when they tell you to floss, they're not telling you to dig deep. I'm telling you to dig deep because that's what you should do. Make them bleed at least once a month. But they don't tell you that. They say scrape the side of the teeth to get the plaque. Well, one second. I mean, could it be that dentistry is so, for the purpose of getting the buck, that we're going to train all our professionals on things that are going to gain more business for us? Like, don't dig into the gums with flossing. Don't brush hard. Use a soft brush. And then, if you get them in your office, tell them that you have, gum disease and you need a gum treatment that's going to be expensive. Figure out a way to get the most money out of them possible, and at the same time, train everybody that this is it. Train everybody to be honest, but that we're going to tell them all the things out there that are going to make the most business for us by telling everybody this fupa, these misnomers. Is that the word? Is this dogma? One second. I mean, that'd be amazing if it was that the dentistry was that corrupt that there would actually be that there's a few individuals at the core. It's like the mafia. It's like the dentist mafia, and they know the truth, but we're gonna spin it, and we're gonna even train our professionals to spin that gains the most money, and the mafia are also running the dentist complaint departments, the Association of Dentistry or whatever you complain to. They run that too, so that in the database that combines everybody together, to keep everybody informed, and it keeps the teamwork going, so that we don't bend anybody over, and we flag the problem childs like me. It seems like that's what's going on. So I've got pretty good teeth now, but I'm telling you that dentistry work that Dr. Hammers did in Smallville, that was the ticket to my hell. Because I mean, I've got a bridge in there. I got a tooth. Hammers' tooth got pulled. The one he did the root canal on got pulled. Had a bridge work put in that caused me pain for 7 years, and nobody could fix that, and I was the only one that could figure it out. And I've got probably about three caps. Other than the bridge, I've got about 3 other caps maybe, and I think I've got like three or 4 root canal teeth. And I'm praying that this is it. I'm praying that this is the end. And the good news is I can hardly get any more cavities because a lot of my teeth are not fake. So, but I mean, this is all. But this work, this big time mouth mess, is courtesy of Hammers drilling in me 60 times over. And again, I've had around five cavities since high school, in the 25 years since then. And as far as the teeth cleaning, I am skeptical about that as well. Do you know that steel, do you know that it develops this thing on the top surface called oxide? It's rust. Do you know that when rust occurs, it actually is a barrier to prevent more rust from occurring? In other words, when you get that film on there, and I learned this from nuclear power, that the oxide actually protects the iron oxide actually protects the iron underneath from getting more rusted because of the layer. So in the same sense, I guess when you get a teeth cleaning, they take off the tartar tartar buildup, whatever, that's on your teeth. And I wonder, I wonder if, like oxide, like the rust oxide, like a barrier on your teeth actually prevents more problems from happening. If you have a barrier, if you have this tartar buildup, perhaps that is a barrier to prevent cavities from showing up. I wonder that. I'm not sure. I'm just skeptical because of they recommend getting a teeth cleaning every 6 months. I interpret that to meaning that you should not get a teeth cleaning every 6 months. It's so I'm not sure about that one, but I wonder. You should get teeth checkup every 6 months, every X-rays every year. It's like, yeah, it's a setup that makes sure that you come in a lot and spend lots of money. I think it's corrupt. And as far as that bridge that was put in by Sheldon Peterson, Dr. Hammers in 2003 was sort of like he wants to work on that bridge. You got to be redone. It's not just for his own money. I think it's to cover up the shoddy work that Sheldon Peterson was doing, and yet when it's all said and done, now that my pain is gone, my earaches are gone, the pain is gone, down here and up. The pain was down here, but the actual infection was up here. This had a low infection, which latched on, was the catalyst for this one up here, and then that one, the infection up here, sparked the nerves that Sheldon Peterson exposed in those two live teeth down here. So in other words, but after the pain, after the infection was gone, I've had no problem with this tooth down here that Sheldon Peterson did. So in him, yes, he was trying to grind the tooth to expose more nerve, and it did have an effect. It became more sensitive to everything. But I mean, if he's trying to mess me up, I got messed up. But I actually am pretty happy with this bridge now. Now that I'm not feeling any pain, now that this infection is gone. So it is I just realized throughout my entire experience that just brush your teeth every day. I don't mean to say that you should brush your teeth. I brush my teeth every day because I feel like it, because it doesn't seem like that much work, and because if I wait, I get sort of a film buildup on my teeth. It's kind of a coating of crap, and that's why I brush my teeth every day, because to avoid that. But you can brush whenever you want. I'm just saying that when it's time to go to a dentist, that try to avoid them like the plague. Like pretend they're the plague, and when they say something, maybe they mean the opposite. Okay. I wish you all the best of luck with your dentist. I think there's got to be some good ones out there. It's just that, I just seem to run across all the bad ones. So, and they just want my money and they want to screw me over. So I hope you can learn from what I've experienced and take a step back. Don't just believe everything they say. Maybe get a second or third opinion. Again, if there is this consortium of dentistry, then that second or third opinion is not going to be so independent like you would for auto repairs. So just be careful, and I hope I help some people out there. I hope I educate people on the problems of dentistry. Just wanted to say that when they say you have a cavity, what you're looking for, what you should be feeling, what you should do, when they stick that little pointy thing in there, and they can actually stick it, and it sticks in there, it's sort of stuck in there, that's a cavity. When you have that, that's a cavity, and then you need that work done. Otherwise, I just would not believe the dozens of cavities that they seem to make up. So, just wanted to say that.